Hey, it's Athena. Welcome to another episode of Unrestricted Live, where we dive into inspiring women who are living lives differently and teach us some tools and tips on how to do that ourselves. So, for many of us, the thought of putting ourselves out into the world is daunting. And many of us have built businesses or want to, but have a fear of being the voice and the face of that business. We worry we'll seem too into ourselves, that we'll be found out, or that people will mock us. Imposter syndrome, thinking we're not actually good enough, is an affliction that hits many, especially women. And online marketing is one of the biggest triggers for those of us that are worried about it. The thing is, to further our businesses, especially in current times, we must be online, and people don't want to buy from faceless brands. They want to know the owners. They want to feel a connection. And when they do, they become loyal fans and customers. So how then can we get over our fear and start utilizing the digital world to forward our causes, to forward our business and connect with potential customers? How can we authentically use video and social media to promote ourselves and our businesses in a way that feels good? So today, my e-commerce and digital marketing expert guest and I are going to discuss how to get over imposter syndrome online. So please help me in welcoming Deonnah to Unrestricted Live. Hello.
Hi, that was awesome. You said some things I already want to talk about. So thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wicked. I'm super excited you're here too. And I think it's such an important discussion because imposter syndrome is something that we're becoming more and more aware of. Often it comes up in the workplace or when we have to do a live speech. But now with the current situation, we're finding that's really coming up with us having to put ourselves out there online. So I'm super excited to have an expert here. So tell us about yourself. What's your background? What are you doing now? Where are you?
Yeah, so my background is in digital marketing. I've been doing digital marketing since 2012. I was just really a contractor for other agencies in the area, and I was contracting like in denial because I was like, I'm not a contractor, I have a job, but I wasn't making anything. In 2016, I decided I was going to open up my own digital marketing business, and over the years, I've just transitioned slowly into e-commerce, which was something I always wanted to do, but wasn't really sure. I wanted to niche down because it felt like I had a scarcity mindset around it. So I had to do the work around that first in order to say, no, niching is important because you know what they say, the riches are in it's niches. It's not niches. So getting real clear about what you want for your business and your message is the most important thing, because you'll find that when you niche down or when you do find your voice, there's so many more layers that you can keep going deeper into that.
Where are you in the world right now?
Right now I'm in Colorado, and this is pretty much my home base. We have a house here, and we just purchased in March. So we are rooted in the area.
Wicked.
Yeah.
And your business is, tell me the name and exactly what you guys do again as well.
Yeah, it's Summit Web Marketing, and we help e-commerce entrepreneurs scale their marketing and we'll scale their business and help them with their digital marketing as far as social media goes, paid advertising. We do SEO as well, and we help with building out their websites so that they can have a great and strong, dependable e-commerce platform to carry them into the future for where they are now in the future. Yeah.
So e-commerce businesses, one of the things that you actually do is you help bricks and mortars, product-based businesses to get online. So especially with this current situation, a lot of people aren't able to go to shops or they're not shopping as much. So there's a need to go online. So why do you think it's so important for product-based businesses to start going online?
It's funny you ask that, because a lot of the influx of clients that I've gotten since COVID-19 happened are those businesses that are brick and mortar. Maybe they're a local boutique, a product shop that never really took the time to go digital and have always wanted that element, but we're forced now into this situation to where everything's online. The way that they want to interact with their clients is now online. The way that they can only interact with people is online. So really helping those people transition into that realm has been paramount for me during this time. But as a business owner, if you aren't digital yet, or maybe you are dabbling or you're still learning the ropes, keep going at it, because the whole entire system that we're living in, we're in the middle of a huge shift, just in communication wise and relationships with people and how we're going to do business in the future. Someone like me who's been doing Zoom calls since 2012. And then everyone saying, what is a Zoom platform? Oh, I can have virtual meetings now. Okay, that phone call or that in-person meeting didn't even need to happen. You really start to understand the concept of time value and just doing things a different way that still works for people where they are. And digital is just that, is meeting people where they're at so that you can still service them with what you offer.
So I think it's a really daunting thing, especially for people that might use social media and know online as a consumer, but as a business, it can be really daunting with moving yourself online. So do people need to do everything all at once? Or is there, a way that they can start dipping their toe into this world? Do they need to be on all the social media channels?
Yeah, I love this question because it works in so many different ways. First, when you start to compare where you're at to other people out there that are on all the platforms, that's a dangerous spot to be in. You really want to look and see where your target customers are and start showing up there. So I like to quote Gary Vee with this one, because in his book, Crush It, which is an absolute must read, he tells you to pick one platform and dedicate all your energy to that. Really learn it. And then when you're comfortable and when the time is right, get to the next one. Keep going with the one that you've already built your brand on, but then start to incorporate those other things so that you have a really cohesive marketing strategy on all the platforms. And yeah, you should absolutely be on social media. Where is everyone hanging out right now? Where is everyone spending their time? On Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on YouTube. YouTube is like the second largest search engine in the entire world. So there's a lot of people on there. And it's like Google. It's owned by Google, but it's like Google in the way that you can research any topic and learn about it without having to get educated on it. Knowing where your target customer is and showing up there with valuable information is the only thing you need. So no, and you don't need to be everywhere. And if you look on my website, I'm only in 3 places, but I'm mostly on Instagram. So I don't even promote the other 2 because I'm not showing up there to engage with people.
Yeah, 100%. I think you touched on such an important point that is coupled with imposter syndrome, and that's us looking at other people and comparing ourselves to them. I see this with a lot of businesses that I work with as well. They're like, oh, but so is on this. And you can do a lot of things badly, or you can just pick one and do that really well. And also what we don't see is like, how big is their team? How much budget do they have behind them? Like all these behind the scenes things. So you need to pick a solution that's for you and feels good for you and doesn't like overstretch yourself as well. And it might be that they're on all the channels, but that's not where your people are. So you just need to go to the channel where you can reach the most of them.
Yeah. You want to start out slow and really get your bearings and your message. And if that's not really clear, the more you show up to talk about what you offer someone that you would ideally like to work with, that message will just start to come through more and more. And there's so much to touch on with how to get comfortable, how to not compare yourself, because, it's just like what you said. When you look out at that other person, maybe they really have their stuff together and they're everywhere. You don't have the same gifts as that person. They're showing up in a way that is authentic to them, that is different from you. So when you start to show up on your platforms to talk about your business or your service or who you are, or just to connect, you want to show up in a way that not only feels good, like you said, but that is real, because the ideal person that's going to be for you is going to show up for you because you're being who you are and you're being real and authentic, which I hate that word right now. It's like being thrown around.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
So many people, especially women, are like so resistant to going online because they feel like it's going to look like self-promotion or they're going to seem full of themselves. It can be a real struggle. I don't like being in the spotlight. I don't like putting myself out there. I don't want to have to act like something I'm not. So is this really the case? What can you say for people that are feeling resistant to putting their face, out there and being attached to their brand?
Yeah, no, I know why it's scary because video cuts through everything immediately. You are showing up in your most vulnerable state, which is wide open and ready to present yourself and whatever you have to say to someone without even getting feedback. What are they going to do? Text you like something? I would say to get used to getting on camera, just start picking up your phone and turning the camera on yourself and just start talking and getting used to seeing yourself on camera. Snapchat also works great for that because it's up for 24 hours and then it's taken down and no one ever sees it. There's really no way with Snapchat for people to try to find you or follow you unless they actually know you. So it's just a different social media platform. There's really no like hardcore algorithm that's built in. So you can do all the video you want all day long just to get yourself used to being on camera and hearing your voice and tweaking it so that it sounds really like you instead of some filtered version of what you think you should sound like or what you think you should be presenting yourself like. Because that's really the hang up. I remember when I started doing more live things on social media, I was really afraid of being judged when really no one they don't care about what you look like. They care about your message. They don't care about really how you sound as long as it's authentic. And if you're showing up in that way, it's totally transparent. Video is like the most transparent thing. And I think that's why it's so scary.
It's really interesting you say that. I know authenticity is bandied about a lot, just being true to yourself and your personality. When I've been putting myself out there a lot more on video over these last couple months, and it's certainly an uncomfortable place. And I can easily get on a stage in front of tons of people and speak, and that was no problem for me. But for whatever reason, I found camera very uncomfortable. So the more I started doing it, the more I got used to it. I got comfortable with it. I can turn it on now pretty much without a problem. However, some of the content that I was making, I was following formulas that people told me to follow, and it just felt weird. And I did it anyway because I was like, this is people that know what they're talking about. I'm going to follow their formula. And I put it out there, and I was like watching this video and like cringing a little bit, So it was a lesson to me to trust my gut. If something feels weird, if I watch a piece of content and I'm like, despite the fact I'm not a video editor, that was pretty awesome. And I feel good about that. And the message is good. So that's my personal experience, just the last 6 months or whatever of putting myself out there when I have tried to follow to the letter somebody else's script or somebody else's formula. And I had that feeling in my gut while I was doing it, or maybe I wasn't like coming with the same energy while I was doing it. Our intuition tells us a lot because it's important, now with putting out your personality as you are. And I'm curious why video and why putting your face behind your brand is so important. Does it actually make a difference in terms of how well people can do when they have a product-based business online?
Totally. I'll actually reiterate what you said in the introduction where I was like all fired up is when you said people want to do business with people, not brands. And society, if you've been paying attention, you've been noticing for at least the last 4 years that owning what you're putting out there instead of hiding behind a company or a mission statement or a logo, no one gives a shit anymore about that stuff. They want to like know what they're getting into, who's behind what they're interested in, how does it connect with them, how does it create the bigger picture as to like how they're spending their money, what they're investing in, how they're spending their time. So it's really about more relationships and connecting than anything. So being the face of your brand and being able to put yourself out there is so important now because you're going to catch a lot more fish just showing up and being who you are and talking about your products instead of the 1980s version of taking photographs of your product and just like splashing them everywhere. No one even cares about that. If you have a pair of earrings, they don't want to see the earrings. They want to see them on someone that looks like them that they can relate to. That's a lifestyle situation with some information about that product.
We're starting to care about provenance and the story and feel much better making a purchase when it's not some like faceless Amazon purchase. If it's something personal, a piece of jewelry or a piece of clothing, like whatever it is, it feels so much better to buy it from somebody that you know is like super passionate about it, and hearing all the reasons why they're passionate about it as well. You know, having had a product based business myself, the amount of care and sweat and tears that went into sourcing
Mhm.
ingredients that lived up to like my personal code, or the 700 times I had to make one recipe to make sure it was perfect for the product. People are interested in that whole journey. This is something that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, even if you're not ready to launch yet, like taking people on that journey of like how you're getting your products out there, or how your products are
Totally.
made, or where they are coming from, or like why you care so much about this particular detail. And you never get that kind of insight on big e-commerce platforms. So, you know,
No.
video is a wonderful way to tell that story.
Totally, because people want to know what your values are. And if you're communicating them in a way that tells a story and building community, that is the secret sauce right there. So essentially, people are looking for connection. They're looking to belong. They're looking for a community of like minded people. And if your product or service or business model is that to them, you're already building a loyal group of people who are not just customers, they're a community who are going to sell for you and be there for you,
Mhm.
but they want to know you. You can just go to Amazon and buy said pair of earrings if you don't care. I just need this like one pair of earrings to go with this one outfit this one time. I don't really care. But for me to purchase something that has values and ethics and is sourced in a different way, that's just you're buying into their dream instead of just someone trying to make money on the internet.
100%. I think most of the important purchases for me have been people, I follow them for a long time. There's a woman who I've been following for years. If I ever end up getting engaged and married, like that is where I'm getting my ring from. You know, like the long game. And it may
Right.
never happen, but I will be a customer if I get the opportunity. But it's because she puts out such beautiful content and like takes you on that journey. And it's like
Yeah,
how special to have something special made by a person that cares that much about it, as opposed to just, you
totally.
know, getting it anywhere. If someone has a bricks and mortar business and they want to start getting online, what would be the most effective thing for them to do first to connect with potential customers, or even find where those customers are?
Yeah. So if you're starting from zero and say you just launched, I would start with an email list, and I would start by giving away discounts or free shipping, 15% off your entire purchase. And as you have this process on your website, head over to social media, start posting your products, doing stories of you talking about the stuff that you sell, that you do, how to access your shop, show things in your shop, and then talk about it. Now, Facebook and Instagram, they're really going to bat for small business owners, especially after COVID-19. So, with Instagram shopping, for example, Facebook now has Facebook Shop. Instagram is getting way more easier to sell your products on. But I just finally confirmed yesterday that Instagram is now even offering digital products to be sold on their platform, which is like never, ever, ever happened before. So it's classified under informational products. Basically, you can now sell products, services, and informational products on these platforms. So they're really gearing up to appeal to anyone with an online business that has an offer. So not just posting that, but having an easy way for people to shop that product where they can just tap on it and learn about it and buy it right there. You want to make it super, super easy, but also engaging for people. So if they're interested, it's not hard to find you and it's not hard to buy what you have to offer.
That's two really important tips that sometimes people overlook. Am I making it as easy as people to find me? And I'm making it as easy as possible for them to buy from me, you know?
Right.
And those two things are super important. I've been traveling the world now for over a year, and I find a place that I want to like go to, or a restaurant I want to go to, or a service that I want to use, and like they have no website. I have no idea how to get a hold of
Oh my
them.
God, I
I have
know.
to look in a million different places and then look in the comments, and somebody's like, oh, you can text them at this number, that sort of thing. It's like making it really difficult for me to be a customer. If you can just make sure that when people look for you, like they know how to get a hold of you or find you, super, super easy thing for you to do. And a lot of people
Totally.
overlook it.
I think it depends on like the service or business you offer too. I know like a friend of mine, she just went to New Mexico and she wanted to go to this shaman, but like the shaman doesn't have Facebook or internet or any of that. She had to like get a phone and call the person on the phone and set up an appointment time. She was like, is this person even real? I don't even know. So
Well, yeah, and also like the phone thing for me, I'm traveling abroad all the time, so I like calling locally for me is difficult. What thing I do love about Latin America though is they're all on WhatsApp, and you can get a hold of
yeah,
them like super quick on WhatsApp, and they're like super
totally.
responsive. I've ordered like tons of things through WhatsApp. I guess that's when looking at your channels and looking where your customers are, do you even necessarily need like Instagram as a start? Like maybe WhatsApp would be an amazing
I
channel for you to
love
be
it.
available on.
Yeah, no, I've seen so many people that are like DM me or buy on WhatsApp and then they have their link posted or whatever so that you can start that conversation with them. I would even say now with Messenger, they have private rooms for free up to 30 people. You can make free calls in Messenger anywhere in the world. So it's so much easier. Could you believe in the 90s? Like, first we had a payphone and then it would cost us like a quarter for every 5 minutes calling overseas or whatever. So it's just become so much easier.
I think when you and I met, I had a pager, like
Yeah, I
legit.
had a picture.
Like, I was just thinking yesterday when I was watching TV, I was like, how
Funny.
simple was that life, right? If you were away from a
Yeah.
phone, like you were just away from a phone and like present in that moment. So I think
Right.
there's probably an element of like when you're on and off, but that can lead us down a whole other rabbit hole, which I want to bring us
Oh my
back
God.
to.
You could have an episode on that too. Just like
Seriously,
that
I
whole
talk
thing.
about turning your phone off a lot,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Just being present in the moment, not being distracted. Yeah. Technology. Hello.
so I think video is absolutely terrifying for a lot of people. So do you have some tips for somebody that maybe has never done video or is just dipping their toe on it, that like how they can get started with video?
Yeah, I think if you're brand new, I think it's normal for you to just start consuming a lot of things, trying to get used to the idea. And that's okay, just as long as you don't get caught up in over consuming and then analysis paralysis. You know, if
Hmm.
you see a technique that you like, that you want to try, that feels in alignment with you, that feels good, then go for that. And if you need practice, just use the camera on your phone, switch it to your face, and just practice. And really just start getting used to yourself on camera. I know that there are private groups of people that are supportive of others that are getting used to this because the algorithms are favoring video. It's becoming so much more the norm. 3 years ago, all the platforms were like, hey, we're favoring video now. You better get used to this, get on it, get used to it. And people have been very slow to pick it up. But I think in 2020, you saw so much more just due to the coronavirus, people being isolated, people not having another way but to reach out digitally. Even if you just want to FaceTime somebody, that's like a great way to just get used to seeing yourself. And then once you're used to that, schedule that one time a week where you go live or do a story or show up in your feed in some way that's going to start positioning yourself as you, the brand, and not you hiding behind a message. Or it's so weird talking about this because I've been through like all of those all of those things.
Yeah, me too. I'm
But I
still going through it.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
think if you have days where you're just like caught up or you're like, oh, I don't know if I, or you judge yourself too much, and you just got to move through those things and just chalk it up to it's just a day. It's like how I'm feeling. Maybe it's my emotional state. Maybe it's hormones, whatever. The next day is new. So then pick it back up as soon as you can.
Yeah, there will be another podcast in this season about our cycles, and our neurochemistry changes 25% every single week. And our productivity, our energy, all of these things, we've been taught this work 40 hours, 5 days a week, and you have to like always be on and just completely disconnect from what goes on with our bodies, when actually like our body does not do that. Our hormones completely change week to week. so does our energy, so does our, our brains. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. So, tapping into that and maybe planning your video around like when you know that you have that kind of energy that you can bring to things. Cause sometimes we just don't feel like it, and that's cool. But
Totally.
I think what I actually love about the pandemic is
Wait, you love
there's
something
no
about it? I'm just kidding.
I I I'm like that person now that let's find the positive in this so I don't completely go down with depression. But in terms of, because I've always been
Totally.
obsessed with marketing and branding and positioning and everything. And the thing that I think is awesome about this is there is no more perfection, right? Like perfection is imperfection now because we're not able to produce and create things in the same way. So like some of my favorite clothing brands, they're now posting like their new products, and I can totally tell that the model shot it in her apartment, and I'm seeing her dirty mirror behind her, and I'm like, this is
Right.
awesome. So like the voyeur in me is I love this. But the late night shows are doing their broadcast at home and their kids are running around or doing their graphic.
Mhm.
So we're starting to see real life, so like this perfect photoshopped world that the brands and the media has been able to create, we're seeing through that. So it's a lot easier, I think, to enter this space knowing that people are starting to distrust anything that's too perfect.
Totally. I think too, perfectionism is just another form of procrastination and another way to talk yourself out of going for that thing that you're trying to do. And another way of feeling comfortable too is just to tell yourself other people out there are doing it. So I better just do it. And they're probably having the same struggles as well. No, being self-critical, trying to be perfect. And I think the gift that social media has really given us is that it does cut through the fake, the plastic, the perfectionism, and it forces you to show up as you are, who you are, how you are, when and where in whatever situation. And people love that because it's real. And that's all we want is just reality. With all the stuff that we've been subjected to over the last 50 years, it's gotten
Mm-hmm.
crazy and it's caused mental health problems, people making themselves sick. So it's been good in
100%.
that way. Yeah. But as far as some of the negative sides of social media, which we won't get into, there's another flip side of the coin to that. But if you keep it positive, make it about your business, don't get too personal. Share what you want, but share in moderation within what feels good.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually, because I talk a lot about turning off your phone. And if I could, I would be completely off social media, to be honest. But like, I know that's how I'm going to find more people on my mission. And I want to connect with people and I want to inspire women through telling stories like yours and introducing them to people that can help them like be their most awesome self. But I think there's something to setting times that you allow yourself to do that, or making a conscious decision like now is going to be my social media time, and then there's an end point to that, because it is so easy with uncertainty to just let ourselves like get sucked into that world outside of business, so being
Mm-hmm.
really, really disciplined with yourself, I think, to set, okay, if I'm going to go online for my business, this is my work time, this is what I want to achieve. Actually set yourself
Yes.
some goals of what you're going to do in that time to avoid getting just lost going down the rabbit
Mm-hmm.
hole and being like, oh my God, I just spent 2 hours doing this. Like, what have I accomplished? And then you feel worse. So,
Yeah, being in social media for this long too, I'll have a plan to open up to do some engagement or community building, and all of a sudden I'm like off on Amazon. I'm here, I'm there, I'm checking email. I'm like, whoa! It's very easy to get distracted. And someone else, I was listening to some other podcast, digital marketer guy, and he was like, your time on your phone on social media should never be about consuming things. It should be about creating content for someone else to consume. So when you hop
mm,
on there, make it very like quick and do what you got to do, and then put it down, get off, and then continue on your day. You should set aside that 1 hour a day to just get on there and engage. But even that's considered working because you're building your community, you're engaging with other people, you're out there for your cause. If you need to just relax and detach and escape reality, social media will be there for you whenever you want.
totally. So on that note, like how would you encourage women to get over their imposter syndrome or their fear of being in the spotlight? Is there any, I don't know, anecdotes or business cases or rational arguments or just loved up advice that you have to help them get through this?
I would say just find your voice and stay true to yourself and show up as who you are and what you have to bring to the table. don't worry about what's going on outside of you. It's only going to distract you and second guess yourself, and you're going to start that spiraling. People that are for you, that you are going to attract, that you're meant to attract, are going to be drawn to you just by you being you. And just remember that going into it. You don't have to put on a show. You just gotta come from a place that's in your heart, and a place that means something to you, and that people see that and they're attracted to it. Really, I guess that's also where the fear comes from, is just being so vulnerable with your own voice. And that is something that just takes practice. If you journal, that's a good place to start, because you can start to find your voice there. And you show up on social media, you write like how you sound, you talk how you sound, and you are so in tune with yourself that it's not even a thought in your mind anymore. You're just going to show up, do your thing, say your message, and be done with it.
Yeah, I love that. Journaling and writing again has been a really great way for me to get back in touch with that side of me. I think two things that were really a tipping point for me in coming on the online world. One is something that I've known for a really long time, because I think people are reticent to sell themselves or sell people things. They're like, I'm not a salesperson. But if you have a product that can help people, flipping the mindset, like it's not sales, it's solving a problem for someone. Look at what you're doing as like helping someone solve a problem in their life, no matter what your product or service is, like it's solving a problem for them. So you're not selling them, you're just helping them. So that can help you like tone down the whole like, buy now, $9.99. Like, it's like, actually, like, I know this is your problem. I got you. This is why I created this. You're all good. So that was a big thing for me, because I've always been like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. And anytime, this content that I told you about where I followed someone else's script, I'm like, this isn't me. And I should have listened to that. And actually the content didn't do well. And it makes sense because it's not me.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that really sat with me, I had a friend that was brave enough to be honest with me about my book. Actually, she was reading my first draft of my book. And I think a lot of us feel like we need to be the hero in the story to come online and be like the champion and whatever. And it makes sense because that's what we see that's out there. But actually, if we position ourselves as the guide and our customers as the hero, like how are we guiding them to getting to their great place? And I think those two things have really helped me, not only with my messaging, but feeling a lot more comfortable coming online, because I'm here to help people solve a problem and I'm here to guide them to do that. And like whether they see me as a part of that or not, I don't care. But if I'm getting them in the right general direction to live their most awesome life, I'm doing a good job.
Yes, you got to take yourself out of the equation and just come at it with value. It's not even about you. It's about them and knowing them and how you can really serve them. And if that seems like self-toting at first, fine, but it's not. I think it was Dean Graziosi who I was listening to one time, who was like, it's a disservice to keep information from you or your ideal customer that would help them. You're actually disservicing them by not being that person, that guiding light for them. And that made so much damn sense to me at the time. I was like, oh my God, and then the more you start consuming media, other people just crushing it, you're like, I totally got this. I can do this.
Yeah, man. So, super excited to introduce you to the unrestricted audience. I think this is a really, really important topic, and one that we're going to be faced with more and more and more, getting comfortable on video and bringing our businesses online. So where can they get more resources or information if someone wants to explore how to market themselves or their business online?
Yeah, I have a ton of different free resources on my website, summitwebmarketing.net. I actually just compiled a free video marketing checklist. So it will tell you what you have to buy, things that you can use, different hacks you can make, different backgrounds, things like that, to just get you really ready, mentally prepared. So you can download that for free. And then on Instagram, my handle is Deonnah.Carolus. And I talk about all things business marketing and just how to show up and crush your business on social media.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching and those of you listening, in the description below, we'll make sure to link you to all of Deonnah's stuff. She's got incredible content. It's really useful. It's really easy to take in. And she's just a wonderful guide that helps you with the authenticity and like getting over like the fear, but also she's very accomplished in many, many areas of this world. So she's a veritable, wonderful source of information for you. So I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and talking about this. And I know there's going to be some really exciting stuff coming up from you as well for how people can get more comfortable in this space. So make sure to go to her website and follow what she's doing there, because there's some cool stuff coming up that you guys want to get involved in. So the last question that I like to ask everyone that comes on the show, and it's a little bit of a blind side, but I always like hearing what the answers are, is how would you define living unrestricted? What does living unrestricted mean to you?
Living unrestricted, living by my own rules and value systems, however I see that fit for myself, so long as I don't hurt anyone else in the process. That is really what it means to me.
Yes, love that. Our own rules, going online and smashing it. Deonnah, this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Really excited you were able to join me.
Yeah, me too.
Wicked.
This was fun.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Unrestricted. Make sure to check out the links in the description on this episode to find out more about Deonnah and the awesome stuff she can help you with. So peace out, and we'll see you next time.